Hi everyone, welcome back to Sven's Bricks. My name is Sven, and in this video I'm going to be looking at 3 new releases from LEGO that really excite me. First of all, we're going to be looking at the new castle set. We're then going to be taking a look at the new space set, you heard it right, and then one of the new Speed Champions sets. So I've only chosen these 3 because I'm personally very passionate about all 3 of those, and I think that they're the ones that excite me the most. All of them are on my wish list, but yeah, I've placed one of my old castle sets in the background here as a little teaser, but just you wait till you see the real thing. It's a significant build. This is a reaction video, so I've not really looked at the builds already, or the sets already. I've sort of seen a couple of pictures online, on Instagram and so on, but I've not actually been into the homepage and looked in detail at the sets. So you will be getting my genuine reactions as I look at the sets, and I hope you enjoy it.
So let's start with the Lion Knights Castle, set number 10305. It's retailing at €400, but the piece count is above 4,000. I think it's 4,514 pieces. So it's got a pretty good part to price ratio, or price to part ratio. It's a lot of money, but I think the value is still pretty okay. And on first impression, this certainly has an impact. It's a big looking set. And I think the things that you notice immediately are that it has a lot of very classic and retro parts and looks to it, but it's also been updated a bit. I think for me the significant parts are the roofs here, and the masonry bricks, which of course didn't exist back in the classic castle sets. And then we've also got a nice addition of some animals here. We've got the cow and the cart. We've got a little birdie here. And then we've also got a couple of horses which are now able to stand on their back legs, as they have done for a few years now. But we're also looking at a lot of figures here. So we've got sort of new versions of the classic castle figures, including a wizard, and the forest men. I think LEGO are referring to as forest people now, to be politically correct. And then we've also got some new interpretations of the knights, which I think mainly will be new faces. It's hard to tell if the torsos are hugely updated. It looks as though they may have a little bit of extra detail on them, actually. And then also, I think worthy to note at this stage is that there's a fair bit of vegetation growing on the outside, which is not really something that was included in the old sets, but it's more in line with LEGO's way of increased detail that they have in their sets now. But yeah, I think we're looking at 22 figures for this set, so that's a large number of figures, sort of Ninjago City quantity of figures. So this is going to be a really massive and awesome play set for kids, if there are any adults that will allow kids to play with it. But yeah, there's going to be all kinds of playing possibilities here, and I am very excited about it, I must say. The box is looking like a really classic old Legoland box. They used to have Legoland written across this diagonal bit here, but it allows us to see this water wheel, and otherwise I think it's more or less, at least from this angle, what we saw on the first picture. But yeah, really nice looking box. I'm pleased about that they kept the sort of retro design. You can see the figures on the top there. So this one should allow us to spin the model around a little bit. Yeah, so you can see it opens right up at the back. And it closes. So this one allows us to look at the detail a bit more on the thatched roof. So it's using these relatively new claw-like pieces. I'm not really sure. Drop a comment if you know what these pieces are called, but I know that they're new. I have seen them before, but they are relatively new. And then it looks as though we've got some new curved pieces here for the little towers that go on the corners here, in order to get really nice curved corners, which look terrific. This one might even be new, the 4x rounded piece here. We've got a chap here blowing a horn, which is a nice use of the old pole piece, it looks like. What else do we have here? We've got looks like a new headgear piece here for the lady. A really nice detail on this sort of like cottage part here with the thatched roof. Excellent detail for the windows. And these bits here are interesting. If you're the sort of the vertical bits here, I'm not quite sure how those are done, to be honest. If you figure that out, then let me know in the comments, because I'll be interested to see how that bit's built. But it creates a really nice effect with these long slit thin windows like that. Very good look. And there's a slightly better look at the water wheel, which looks really nice actually. Because I like that they've used different shades of brown for that. And then we've got the farmer here with his ox or his cow here. It looks like a little lamb. Yeah, really nice ivy growing up the wall. It just looks awesome when it's closed up like that. A really finished model with it closed up. I'm pleased that that you can close it and it's not sort of left open. I think that looks really nice. And then here it is open. So let's have a little look at the detail inside. The good looking face for this guy here. Lots of expression there. And then we've got what looks like an armory inside here and a treasure room with a little statue of some sort there. And a sort of prison or a dungeon here with a forest man being led into a cell. And then what looks like a stable, which is really nice. So this is sort of going to be under the entrance, and this is the entrance with a portcullis that I think is raised using this little rounded piece on the side here, so that it's probably going to bring these chains up and including this portcullis. And the portcullis, I think, is actually done with the little corner plates, which allows us to make this custom build for a portcullis rather than using the pre-molded ones from back in the day. So that's really nice. And then I really like the weaponry room. The chains that would just add excellent detail to them. And then we've got a helmet and spears and arrows, and yeah, that's a really cool room. Not quite sure what this is, whether this is going to be openable or whether that's just a detail for the outside. I think it looks as though it's just a couple of bricks deep, so it's just going to be detail for the outside, I think. And then we've got what looks like a children's room, and to me that looks as though he's building the classic yellow castle, the one that everyone loves so much, which is a nice little nod back to the old retro castle series. And then we've got a wizard's room with a little chair and a fireplace, some nice detailing up there on the wall. And then this looks like a kitchen with an open oven, and I presume the cook for the castle. And we've got a little outdoor area, and then we've got a bedroom here with some royalty standing in it. It looks like a little quill and a nice looking plush bed. And then we've got a sort of banquet hall or a banquet table, also looking very regal with shields on the sides and some food on the table. Nice brick built chairs and furniture all around in there. And then at the bottom here we've got what looks as though it's the mechanism for the water wheel, which of course would exist in real life in order to mill. So that's looking really nice in that bottom right hand corner as well. Let's have a little look at the lifestyle pictures. Yeah, so you can see the size of this. I mean, it's wider than this chap. Really massive set, this. So the question is how it's going to be best to display it. Whether it's going to be nicest to display it like this on a shelf, so that you can see all of the outside, or whether you have it closed up. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts about how you might display it if you owned this. I think I would personally probably display it like this, but you'd have to find a cupboard or a shelf big enough to hold it, because that's quite a footprint on it when it's closed. So it's possible that it may be easier to display it like this, although of course it's longer then. But it's nice to have the option, really nice to have the option, and I think it's good that you can close it so that it is fully closed. Yeah, see, that looks really nice with it all fully closed like that, I think. That's how I would personally display it most of the time, at least, and then when people came I could then open it up and spin it round and show them the details and let my kids have a little play. So let's just take a little look at the video here as well. Another lifestyle video. Lego love these days. Okay, so it opens out from both sides. Looks like just two hinges, one on the left and one on the right. See, there's the pieces for the portcullis. Actually, those in the middle there look like new pieces. Look at that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but those exist. They're the corner pieces. 1, 2, 3 studs. But I think this is new with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 studs. So that's interesting. You get a good look at this guy's detail here as well. He's got really nice detail actually on his legs, and he's even got little creases in his top. You see, they've gone all out. They've not just made copies of the old bodies. They've actually put a bit of effort into making this really exclusive. And he's even got a little goatee there, which is quite appropriate for the time. So the portcullis opens there, and then I think the drawbridge drops. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very, very nice set. I think this is going to have to be a purchase when this arrives. 8th of August, this set's arrived. This set's arriving, and it's part of the new Lego Icons line, so it's replacing the 18 plus line, even if it's still being marketed as an 18 plus set. But yeah, that is a very, very exciting release by Lego.
Right, so next up, let's have a look at set 10497, the Galaxy Explorer. For the observant of you, you may notice that 10497 is a tribute to the old 497 Galaxy Explorer from the 1980s, or maybe it was even released in the 70s. I haven't actually looked that up. But yes, this is a very, very exciting release for all you space fans out there. It's been rumoured for a while, but we finally have images of it, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. With the old blue and grey colour scheme, the yellow visors or windscreens, and the classic red and white minifigures and a little rover. This is looking absolutely terrific. So we've got the big fin on the back, like the original, and the figures are looking, as far as I can tell, pretty much identical to the old classic figures, with the exception of the thick chin strap that we've had for a few years now, where it used to break very easily. And then we have, as I mentioned, a small rover and a little robot helper for them. But it's very nice to have 4 figures included, not just 1 or 2. It really kind of adds a bit of presence to the set to have so many figures, and I think all 4 of them fit into that cockpit, but we can only see 2 seats from this angle. But I think you can fit all 4 in, at least into both of those areas. I think Lego have done a really amazing job with creating these angles around the front. I like that they've not used just plates like they did on the original model. They're continuing their trend of updating the classic sets with largely brick-built versions. So rather than just a single plate, we have at least a couple of plates here, thick for the outside of the ship, which obviously makes it look even more realistic. And if we have a little look inside, you can see that the seats are brick built, and my personal favourite are these little loudspeaker bits at the back, which are made from buckets, as I think from what I can see, which I just think is so cool, because the original part is actually still made by Lego. So I can only assume that the designer thought that it was too small, or they wanted to make something a bit more exclusive, because they've used 4 pieces to recreate 1 classic piece. Which is really, really nice. And then moving on to the sort of jets of the ship,
They've used the sort of barrel part or the crow's nest piece in order to get the nice textures on the side here. And again, these are sort of much larger versions of the old classic jets, which were a single piece. I don't know how many pieces there are in this, but there's certainly 8 or 10 at least there, it looks like. But those are really nice looking, and the use of that piece there gives it a lot of sort of greebling look on the side of it. It's been done before by Lego, but it works very well, so why not do it again? We then, of course, have the very, very nice transparent yellow visors, 2 of them. I do recognise that visor, but I'm not quite sure where from. Please leave me a comment if you recognise it. Maybe it's a Star Wars set. I don't follow the Star Wars line so closely, but I do recognise it, although I think it's a newer part. But yeah, so there's 2 sort of cockpit areas. One looks like a steering area and the other looks like a kind of control area. Moving on, let's have a little look at the box. The thing that stands out for me the most is the Galaxy Explorer label, which, as with the castle set, is where it used to say Legoland on the old box. But it's looking very, very classic, this, with the moon background or the planet background. I love the look of the box, and it will certainly be one that I'll be keeping. Tempted to get two of these and to build one and leave one unopened, just because of the exclusivity of it. But yeah, we'll see. So let's have a little spin around the model, see if we can make out anything different here. Yeah, there's nice red dishes on the back. They look really good. They're also very authentic to the original design, the same red colour. And here you can see just how thick the wing is. It's at least 2 or 3 plates thick, which is really nice. And then over here you can also see the old post box part that's still being used, and at the back there is a brick built arrow. So yeah, there's lots of little treats here for the fans. And yeah, you can just about see into the second cockpit there a bit more of the detail of the sort of control panels, and it looks as though the front will be mainly just for steering and that the back will be the sort of controls and all the screens. So there's going to be lots of playability if there are any adults out there that will let their children play, but maybe there might even be some children in this day and age that will want this set. I'm sure my children will. Just having a little closer look here to see if we can make out any extra detail. The prints in there look familiar. I can't see anything particularly new in there, and I can definitely now see that there's 4 seats for all 4 minifigures in there. So moving on then to the back of the ship, and here we can see that it opens up, and it looks as though the little rover will sit in the back there, which is really nice. I think it looks pretty fantastic with it opened up like that at the back. And there's some nice detail on the inside to symbolise a few more instruments, and then these little pieces here where the rover will presumably be held in place. Not much else there, just 2 doors that swing open. And then having a little look at the box, the back of the box, again looking very much like the classic old box. You can see a sort of bird's eye view of the ship here with a really, really nice arrow shape to it, just like the original. And again, you can see the brick built arrow. Very, very nice looking box. And on the bottom left there of the box, you can see one of the minifigures having a bit of a rest, lying down in what looks like a bed. And then I must say that this angle here on the top right is really, really nice. I mean, just look at how good that ship looks from the front with all 4 figures there sat looking out. That's going to tug on a lot of adult heartstrings, I think. A lot of fans of the old series. And then bottom right here, this is really fun. I hadn't seen that before, that the jets actually detach and the minifigures can ride around on them as little vehicles. I think that's quite a fun little touch as well. And down here we can see the 3 landing feet, just like the original, but they're a little bit more substantial than the original, obviously, because this is a bigger set. And then we have the lifestyle shots. So we have a very happy and content looking adult here playing with his 10497. And then here we get a bit of a sense of what it will look like on a coffee table. I think it'll be quite the talking point when guests come to the house. Looking really majestic there on that brown table.
And that just about sums up my thoughts about the new Galaxy Explorer. You can see it here against what looks like some A4 paper, so you can get a sense of the scale, and I think that the value looks really, really good on this set. Really, really well done. A lot of adults are going to be pleased with this. So moving on to the last part of the video, the official pictures aren't up on LEGO's site, but it has been officially announced, so we're okay to show the images that have been released on Brickset of the new James Bond Aston Martin DB5 Speed Champions set. I'm very excited about this because I love the old Aston Martins. This one is coming in at 298 pieces and has set number 76911. It includes one minifigure in the form of James himself. And to be honest with you, I actually think that this looks better than the large creator version, and I think it's down to the headlights at the front of the car. That new piece that's been used in the Speed Champions line already just has the right shape to it, and along with what I think and hope is a print, I'm pretty sure that's a print on there. It actually is pretty accurate. You'll see it just in a moment on the back of the box, a comparison with the real car. But that it must be a print. LEGO tend to do prints when there's an angle or a curve in two directions, so both up and down and side to side. Otherwise, it's difficult to get stickers on. Like, see here, this is probably a sticker, whereas this is a print. I do think so. So yeah, but we'll see. And then at the front of the car, we also have this very nice grille, which does look as also like a print. I think it must be a print considering how close together the print is. There doesn't appear to be a gap there like there would be if there'd been a sticker there. And again, it gives a really, really authentic look to the front of the car, that sort of mouth shape to the Aston Martin cars. There looks to be another little print on the front there for the headlights, and on the back there's a little bit of a bumper, and the front there's a bit of a bumper along with these little bull horns, looking pretty cool, and then a sticker for the number plate. The air intake on the bonnet is a bit square. Not sure that there would be a better way to do that, to be honest. Let me know if you can think of a way in this scale to make a more rounded air intake. I think again you'll see just in a moment. Yeah, here we go. So the back of the box, we can make out these nice new, well, they're not totally new, but relatively new pieces. The rounded plates here, it looks like prints on those as well, I'm pretty sure. It would be hard to do stickers for those considering how close they are to the edge again. And the registration plate looks like a sticker. So these bull horns used for the bumper are really, really cool. That's an excellent choice of part for that. Very authentic looking. And then a quick just comparison between the real model or the real car and the model. You can see that there's a lot more rounding in the original car, but of course, you know, at this scale, I think the LEGO designer has done just about as good a job as they can with this. It slopes down a bit more at the front, the mouth is a bit more sloped, the air intake, as mentioned, is more sloped, and you can see that the roof is also more sloped. But in general, I think they've captured the look. You can definitely tell that it's the DB5 when you see it, and I think that's the most important thing really at this scale. I think they've done a really smashing job of this, an even better job than they did of the creator, which just looked a bit off to me. Moving down a bit then, we can have a quick look at James, who's the Daniel Craig version of James Bond, which is included, and then also 4 different registration plates, of which I'm unsure of the significance, probably different movies. Drop me a comment if you know the reason. James himself is looking very nice with his tuxedo on. I find it a bit amusing that he comes with a spanner and not a gun. James is known for his PPK, not for a spanner, but there we are. I also would have preferred Sean Connery or one of the older James Bonds here personally. But I suppose it's to do with licensing, so I think we'll have to forgive them for that. Final look then at the profile of the car. Here you can see just how square it is compared to the original car. It's really
this is probably the least good angle of it. I think it looks best from the front because it really is very, very horizontal, that line. It's very, very flat. So I think that's just about all of my comments and thoughts on these three models. I will definitely be purchasing the DB5 and the Galaxy Explorer, and then we'll see if I can find the money somewhere for the Castle as well. I'll most likely put up a video on the DB5 because I like the Speed Champions line, and just to let you know whether I find anything more of interest to talk about. But do drop me some comments and let me know what your thoughts are of these three sets, whether you agree with my thoughts, whether you disagree with my thoughts, and whether you'll be purchasing them yourselves.
So thanks for watching, guys. Do let me know what you think of the sets. Drop me a like, subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and I hope to see you again. Bye for now.